Okay, if y'all can all turn around and face the back door. I like to do this. I'm not a public speaker, but I always want to give a reason for the hope that I have within me. I was very fortunate as a child. As many of you know, I grew up in a foster home, and my foster parents, Albert and Basil, later adopted me. And I was very blessed because they, as you say, kids that are on drugs, I was drugged to church Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday, camp, and if Mama saw a tent pop up on the way home, we stopped there to see what was going on. I really can't remember a time as a child that I just didn't love the Lord. I made a profession of faith at the age of 5. My dad, who did not have an opportunity to go to school because he had to, I guess, get the turpentine from the trees when he was a little boy, so he didn't learn how to read. But when he got saved, he taught himself how to read the Bible and had an amazing discernment of the Word, and he taught me that. And my mother, I can remember she had this 5-inch Bible storybook, and it had pictures and everything in it. And from a young age, she sat us down at night and read to us from that book. And she had her 8-track cassettes, and I guess that's why I have such a love of Southern gospel music. Squire Parsons, the Florida Boys, the Inspirations, we just blared that out through the house. And her Sword of the Lords, and of course, Jerry Falwell, and Billy Graham, all of that was on. So I was very fortunate. At the age of 18, though, I began to wonder about my salvation. And evangelist John Jackson was having a revival at our church. And I can remember still today he was pacing back and forth in front of the pulpit with tears running down his face, and he said, "Do you know that you know that you know that if you die tonight that you're going to heaven?" And I remember that I just didn't have that assurance of my salvation, so I went forward that night and I made sure I got that taken care of. I followed after that with believer's baptism, which happened to be in the pond behind Grace Baptist Church. And now that I think about it, I can't believe it. I don't know if y'all remember the jelly shoes that we used to have. I couldn't even get my shoe out of there. I can't believe they baptized me in that. I think I need to do over in Lake Misty with the sparkly water and the sunset. But anyway, I did do that. Probably one of the most important periods of growth in my spiritual walk was when my children were very young. After being out of church as a young adult, I found myself seeking answers and started attending my childhood church. There was something about being there and seeing the altar where I had prayed, and my dad had done a lot of the woodwork in the church, and it was very comforting to me. And I couldn't understand why I loved the Lord so much, but I had no victory. I would come to church, and within an hour of leaving, I would be totally defeated. That's when the Lord revealed to me my need to have an individual study one-on-one and get in the Word. Through this experience, I learned the importance of exercising my faith, what it really means to believe, and how much it matters what I allow into my mind. I started taking Philippians 4:8 to heart. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, and whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. Through this study, I learned to change my conversation. I changed my music playlist and my thoughts. I also began an in-depth study on faith, which has made the book of Hebrews very special to me, especially chapter 11. I seem to be drawn to verse 6, but without faith it is impossible to please God. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. I struggled with this concept so much that I took mustard seed and put them in the jar on the table, just so I can remember just how powerful faith truly is. Not only did this study change my life, during this time period, I witnessed both of my children's professions of faith and several of the children in my Sunday school class. And I can tell you there's nothing more special than a child coming up and telling you that they got saved because of your witness. Nothing has ever matched that for me. Many times I have used those principles to help me to withstand the fiery darts of Satan. In 2010, my dad was in the nursing home. I had neck surgery, my brother was in a crisis mode, and I could go on and on. I can remember sitting in my living room and hearing the devil laughing at me, taunting me about my situation. And I remember saying to him, I'd rather be in this valley with my Lord, Satan, than on the mountaintop with you. Knowing full well that the power of God had taken over that situation because I finally had activated my faith. A more recent set of trials began in 2015. My father-in-law was in the end stage of his fight with leukemia. I was under extreme pressure at work as well as several unspoken things. I had picked Brooke up from school and headed to Walmart. She wasn't feeling well, which was something I had become accustomed to. We had been to doctors for over a year. They could find nothing. Heart tests, thyroid, kidney tests, everything. So the next step would be to see a neurological specialist. We would never make it. Brooke fell out that day in Walmart with a seizure. Busted her head, unconscious, turning blue. I have never witnessed a seizure before, so you can only imagine. I remained what I call hysterically calm. A lady kneeled down in front of me and called 911. I decided that I would stick my hand down her throat to see why she wasn't breathing. She was turning purple. But a lady walked up behind me and grabbed my arm and said, "Don't do that, Mama." She knew all about seizures, tended to Brooke and me completely. During this time, 911 was apparently not impressed with a 16-year-old being passed out at Walmart. So the hospital administrator happens to walk up and tells them to get there immediately. The Lord has revealed many things about that day to let me know that He was in complete control. It was no mistake that Brooke was with me 10 minutes from the hospital, with the hospital administrator handling the 911 call. But most importantly, he revealed to me that the lady that walked up and grabbed my arm was an angel. And he said, and it is a very comforting memory to Brooke and I. And she asked me from time to time to tell her about the angel that God sent to her. I still remember thanking her and asking her where she was from, and she said, "I'm not from around here." This event was set off a crisis that left Brooke virtually bedridden for a year. She is managed today on medication and seems to be on her way to recovery. I look back on the events of 2015-16 of my father-in-law passing away, having to leave a 19-year career that I was very passionate about, running for political office, and of course dealing with my baby girl's life being turned upside down, as well as several unmentioned things. And it's like a friend asked me, "Lisa, how are you buried in front of this pressure?" And my answer was, "It's not me, it's the Lord," which was true. I could not have done it. And I just want to say that if you're here tonight, and if you're wondering if the love of God is real, I am that living testimony to that fact. I would be somewhere lost and undone without Him. But I stand before you tonight, redeemed, a child of the King, a joint heir with Jesus. I have a note that I carry in my Bible from advanced Have Mercy study that I had about a simple farm woman who spoke in church and she said, I praise the Lord for a deep, settled peace. The world did not give it, and the world can't take it away. If I had to give one verse that sums up how I feel today, standing in the midst of the storm, it would be 2 Timothy 1, verse 12, the second part. For I know who I have believed in and am persuaded that he is able to keep that which I have committed unto him against that day, which incidentally is one of the songs I remember blaring from my mom's 8-track tapes as a child. Thank you.
Amen.